forget. So welcome everyone. Good morning, students, employees, and community members. I'm Erin Cunningham-Ritter. My pronouns are she, her, and I represent the College of Arts and Sciences Be Well program. I'm happy to share hosting responsibilities today with my colleague, Dr. Patricia Gonzalez, Assistant Dean for Access, Community, and Engagement. I am so thrilled to welcome you to today's Let's See You Well session titled Cultivating Compassion Through the Great Turning with Rama Muhammad Mian, PhD student in Ethnic Studies in the College of Arts and Sciences. In the chat, I'm going to put a little information about closed captioning and the link to the Be Well webpage where you can learn more about our Be Well themes, resources, research, and recordings of our Let's See You Well offerings. Before we begin, please note that for today's session, we will primarily focus on question and answers, where Dr. Gonzalez and I will alternate between asking questions after Rama takes us through a brief PowerPoint. Audience members, please feel free to add questions to the chat, and you are welcome to also send private questions to either me or Dr. Gonzalez. We've also built in time for a more active question and answer session at the end of the session. We will start with a guided meditation, and we'll also include reflections and additional options for practice. Now I'm pleased to introduce our speaker, Rama Muhammad Mian, who is a somatic healer, Reiki practitioner, yoga teacher, and graduate student in the Department of Ethnic Studies. Rama's trauma and chronic pain-focused body and breathwork practice is grounded in their Vipassana and Brahma Vihara practice, and their somatic training was in Ushas, a trauma-informed somatic healing program designed primarily for Muslim women. Rama's research is focused on well features and what decolonial trauma healing looks like in a time of heightened racial, sexual, gender violence, and earth destruction. With a background in journalism, media development, and strategy, they have also taught science, technology, and society, critical media, and cultural studies to undergraduates in social sciences and liberal arts programs at universities in Karachi, Pakistan for about 8 years, where she incorporates mindfulness practices and theory in pedagogy and syllabi. Now I'm so thrilled to introduce our Let's See Well expert of the month, Rama Mian. Take things over, Rama.
Thank you, Erin. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I am joining from Boulder, lands that were stewarded and cared for by the Ute, Cheyenne, and Arapaho nations. And I'm very grateful for and honor their care that I immensely benefit from. To start us off, I am going to guide us into a little mindfulness and compassion practice. So, as an invitation to get situated, you can be in any position that feels comfortable and right for you in this moment. You can be, you can have your video on or off also in this time. And if you are comfortable lying down, please do that. Find what is, appropriate for yourself in the surroundings that you are right now. And yeah, let's begin. Bismillah. So, as an invitation first, in just sort of finding our bodies in space. So, finding our feet and bringing us to the ground. So really kind of moving in our seats, if we're in a seated position, to find our feet, to connect with both feet on the ground, to feel the weight and see if we can sort of distribute the weight equally in the front, the paw, the balls of your feet, and the heels, the outside edges and the inside edges. Just kind of getting curious about our feet, wiggling our toes. And then from our feet, ankles up to the knees, a little bit of alignment, and from the knees to the hips. And from the hips, pressing down into your seat and rising up, lengthening the spine, creating space in our abdomen, our solar plexus, and our chest, relaxing our shoulders, placing our palms face up on our knees, on our thighs. Fingers soft, hands soft. And if it feels comfortable for you right now, you can gently close your eyes. And if that does not feel right, then just keep a soft gaze, not an active looking, but just a soft gaze, just maybe directly in front of you. And just taking a moment to be curious and explore what's going on with me right now. Sensing our feet supported by the ground, in our socks and our shoes, and our hips supported by the chair or the surface that we're sitting on. And rooting down in that support, relaxing, letting go. The beautiful earth always here to bear our weight, to support us unconditionally, regardless of whether we do something or not. It's always holding us. Relaxing in that unconditional care and support. Gravity pulling you down, keeping you here. Notice the breath moving through your body. Taking a nice long deep inhale from our nose. And at the end of the inhale, just sensing the fullness of the torso just for a moment before you exhale and release. At the end of the exhale, just noticing the emptiness of the torso before you inhale again. Just take a few moments of purposeful breaths here. See if you can now extend your exhale, making it longer than the inhale. Inhale, pause, exhale, pause. Connecting with the breath in these 4 parts. Just breathing together. Inhale fullness, exhale emptiness. Keep making your exhales longer. You can also sigh audibly if you need to. If it feels okay, you can also bring some movement in with the breathing. As you inhale, your palms open, your fingers soft. As you exhale, gently curl your fingers in, very soft. And then as you inhale, open the fingers out. Keep making your exhales longer. Making your attention soft and affectionate in your hands or your feet if you're not moving your hands. Just feeling and sensing softly into your presence, into your aliveness. The breath also moving softly through you, resting in your long exhales. Just noticing what's feeling pleasant in the body right now. Perhaps coolness on your palms, perhaps the support of the chair underneath your hips. Wherever you're sensing pleasant in the body, just placing your attention there for these few moments. It's really exploring, sensing texture, temperature. And if there is unpleasant, catching your attention, calling attention again and again to what's unpleasant in the body. Perhaps there's pain, tightness, discomfort. Just very softly and gently turning to that space. Maybe you don't have to go very close. Maybe just a larger circle of just being like, okay, there's unpleasant here. I'm feeling unpleasant, which is manifesting for me as just knots in my solar plexus right now. Just seeing that, I see you. I care for you. I'm here. Just allowing for that experience to also be just like the pleasant experience. Bringing attention now to what feels neutral in the body, which is neither pleasant nor unpleasant. My forehead, my eyes, inquiring, being curious for yourself what it is for you. Just resting there for a few moments now, just noticing the texture, the temperature, the expanse, the boundaries of neutral. The unpleasant sensation still feels very loud and is calling your attention and again. Just gently and softly see if it works to place your palm or maybe just your fingertips on that area, on that part of your body. Just with touch showing that you care, offering some warmth, some ease. You can use phrases that works for you. I'm here, I care for your suffering. I'm sorry it hurts. You can also place your palms on your heart or your belly. You can place your right palm on your belly and left on your heart. Just noticing the pressure, the weight of the palm, the temperature, the movement of the breath in the body underneath your palm. Honoring your aliveness. And offering care. May I be happy. May I be free of suffering. May I be safe from inner and outer harm. May I be able to care for myself with ease. Or any other phrases that feel natural for you right now. Whatever feels right for you right now. Just being with your breath, with your body, with your feelings, with your sensations. Slowly expanding out of the body of the self, noticing temperature of the room, the boundaries between your body and the space around you. And expanding your care outward as well. May all beings, big or small, seen or unseen, in my house, in my office, around me, may they be free of suffering. And if you don't want to offer that to your immediate surrounding, that's okay. You can think of somebody that you care for, that it's easy for you to care for. Human, non-human, your plant, a pet, someone maybe you've not even met or know. But whoever is easy for you to care for, to love, to cherish. And letting their face come to mind, their presence. Offering them your care, your love. May you be free of suffering. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe from inner and outer harm. And any other wishes of ease you want to send to this person, this being. Perhaps it's a mountain or a tree. May I be free of suffering. May you be free of suffering. Expanding that care outwards in all directions, north, south, east, west, below us, above us, all around us. Our neighborhoods, our towns, our cities, our countries, the oceans, the lands, all across the earth. All beings on earth, all beings in the water, all beings in the fire, all beings in air. May all beings in all directions be free of suffering. In the vast oceans, the vast space that envelops us all around us. Always here, always holding us. Gently and slowly bringing your palms together, holding your hands, perhaps a little squeeze, just feeling the warmth of your hands. If it feels okay, maybe rubbing your palms together, creating some warmth. And if it feels all right, bringing the palms to your face, your eyes, or any other part of your body that you'd like to offer some care as you very softly and gently, if your eyes are closed, part them, letting in light, taking your time, connected with your feet on the ground, your hips on the chair. And slowly and gently return back to the screen. And if it feels okay, turning your videos on. It's good to see you, Joanne. Hi, Lucy. Michael. Taking a moment to look at all the beings that are here on the screen in front of you in these little boxes. It's incredible that there can be all that space and then we have this. Amazing. Great. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being here. I'm going to start my presentation now. So we're going to move from that space into some mind work. So let's begin. Um, all right. There we go. Amazing. Thank you. Welcome all to this session and to joining. I am Rahma. Oh, I'm having a little bit of a tech issue here. Can you all see the screen? Yeah, okay, amazing. Excellent. Salam alaikum. My name is Rahma. I am a PhD student in the Ethnic Studies department at CU Boulder, where my work focuses on healing and social justice. My name comes from the Aramic root Rahm, R-H-M, which means womb. So, and from womb, the meaning goes to compassion. It's an ancient language from where Arabic and Hebrew come from. And so it's an ancient concept of us being in this compassionate womb. And so compassion, I mean, I was named by my father for his mother. That family was part of Muslim scholars in North India. And it was important that this name was given. And why? Because compassion is the most used quality and attribute used to describe Allah, the creator, in the Quran, in the Muslim tradition. Here you see the invocation in Arabic calligraphy, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, at the Dome of Rock in Jerusalem. And this mosque is the world's oldest surviving work of Muslim architecture. And this Muslims begin everything with this invocation, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, which translates to in the name of Allah, the most compassionate and especially merciful. So that is the amount of importance placed on compassion in the tradition that I was raised in. Um, so, but I mean, I knew what my name was, but I didn't really make the connection until with my own suffering with autoimmune illness and its physical, emotional, and psychological pain, that I started really being like, okay, what is compassion? How do we work with it? You would think my name would have been the entryway into practicing compassion immediately. It was, but in true South Asian syncretic manner, what strengthened my practice was coming across the ancient practices of Brahma Viharas. So here's a bust of Buddha from, it's at the Lahore Museum. I took this photo. It's from Jaulia in present-day Pakistan, where there used to be these great sites and places of Buddhist learning around like 1200 years ago. And so what is Brahma Vihara? Brahma Vihara literally means divine abodes. Vihara is an abode, is a place where you rest, you stay, and Brahma is the divine beings. So what the Brahma Vihara practices is the story goes that Shakyamuni Buddha asked monks to practice Vipassana, which is the Buddhist meditation, which is literally present moment awareness or mindfulness as it is known in these lands. So he asked the monks to go practice in the forest, and the monks did, but the forest and hence the present moment was scary, so they rushed back. The Buddha then offered Brahma Viharas, which were a basket of concentration practices that were already present in the region. So they predate Buddhism. So they're 2,500 plus year old practices as an antidote to their fear. So what are the practices? There are four. These four are metta, loving kindness, karuna, compassion, care, mudita, joyful joy, and upekkha, equanimity. And so they're called Brahma Viharas because the idea is that these are the mind body states of being of gods. And they say that the gods are jealous of us because we get to experience the full range of human experience, which includes grief and anger and jealousy and fear, as well as joy, connection, and love. Whereas the gods stay in only one realm. So they will just be in the realm of metta, or just the realm of karuna, or just the realm of upeka. So they're gods that will just stay in those realms. But the good thing about being humans is that we can cultivate these godly or divine mind body states of being with practice and intention, because we are, as humans, are going to go through all the various states, and that is what makes us whole and our existence whole, that we get to have all of that. But when it comes to the not so easy mind body states like fear or grief, you can train and cultivate yourself to rest in these divine abodes. You can kind of go rest there for a little bit. You can call them in. And then once your state of being of difficulty or discomfort has passed, you can go back to experiencing the present moment as it is. And of course, these are not the only mind body states that we can actively cultivate and embody, because we are neuroplastic. What we repeat becomes habit or us. But these four were privileged over all others. And the Buddha offered these as complementary practices to present moment awareness, as an encouragement to really practice and cultivate these states. The important thing to emphasize here is that these are not separate, they feed each other. So for me, the entry point for these practices was metta practice, loving kindness practice, which leads to, generally for folks, but also specifically for me, that led me to then understanding compassion. It was first I had to really practice loving kindness for myself, really accepting myself as I am, where then I was like, oh wow, there's a lot of suffering here. And then that automatically generates compassion for others, because you're like, if this is this hard to exist, then it must be hard for this person and this person and this person as well. It's hard to have a body, it hurts. So they feed each other, and the foundation is one of upeka, which is equanimity. Okay. So, how do you practice this? I went to a lot of retreats where you're actively cultivating, via intention, via attention, via phrases and words, and touch and visualization. So this is not just a concept. You have to sort of embody the felt sense, and you keep repeating until it becomes habit. I know it sounds very simple, but it's not easy, right? Because I mean, we will return to that, because what American scientists have called backdraft comes up, and a lot of backdraft comes up when you bring attention to your suffering. Then the body is like, oh, here you go, there's so much, right? And so you learn to basically slowly work through that. So then, in the same framework of interconnection, compassion then is self-compassion. There's no separation between compassion for others and compassion for yourself. We only experience the world through our own mind, body, sense, feel. Compassion is not a concept out there, but it's an embodiment, it's a way of being. And the compassion for others comes from a felt sense of compassion within ourselves. So think about times when you felt compassion for a friend, a child, a pet, or any beloved who was suffering. In order for you to understand that they're suffering, you have to actually notice that this being is struggling or feeling badly about themselves. How do you figure that out? It's because you know what it's like to feel bad, right? Because you've experienced suffering. Because you are intimately aware with your own suffering. So when you're in direct contact with your own suffering, instead of running away from it, as the dominant culture actively encourages you to do all the time, you are able to see the suffering of the other, who, by the way, is not separate from you from a spiritual or scientific perspective, but more on that on maybe another presentation. So self-compassion then involves being aware of your own pain and suffering, and understanding that this is hard, but it's part of a full human experience. And then directing feelings of kindness and care towards ourselves, and focusing our attention and energy on how we might alleviate our pain, is self-compassion. And this emphasis on compassion is not unique to Islam or Buddhism. That's just my story, right? Pretty much all sacred wisdom traditions from around the world, including on these lands, emphasize compassion. So I have here Leanne Beresamosake Simpson, who is a Mississauga, Mississauga Anishinaabe scholar based in Canada, whose work is grounded in Anishinaabe knowing, being, Anishinaabe intellectual tradition. And this excerpt here from their book that I really recommend, as we've always done, gets to, like shows you that it's like there's ancestors, there's spirits, there's land, right? So compassion is all encompassing, right? So it requires long-term, stable, balanced, warm relationships within the family, extended family, the community, and all living aspects of creation. Compassion for another in one's thoughts and mind. It has a connotation of bestowing kindness, mercy, and aid, right? And deep, unconditional love. And again, it's not just spiritual traditions, but also feminists, um, feminists of color that emphasize compassion, right? Gloria Anzaldúa wrote this after 9/11, this essay, Let Us Be the Healing of the Wound. And, when they're saying this, knowing and not knowing here is emphasizing becoming familiar with, aware of your own suffering. It's a difficult path, as Anzaldúa says, but also the more healing one. And from that place, showing up for others, right? And here's more reasons. Um, so here's Angela Davis and Audre Lorde. Right, the work is rooted in this care and this compassion. The work of feminists of color is absolutely rooted in that, right? I mean, it makes complete sense. Why shouldn't it be? Because everything about the dominant world order of racialized colonial capitalism is designed for you to hate yourself. You're surrounded by messaging via the ways institutions are structured, via advertising, via media, via culture, that you're not okay as you are. You're either not, fit enough, you're too old or too young, or not healthy enough, or, you have to do more, you have to be more, you have to buy more to be worthy, right? Um, and so in that, coming from that, looking at those systems, of course, it makes complete sense that all directions are pointing towards compassion and self-compassion. So again, if you really, to summarize this, why is it important to practice self-compassion? I mean, what else is there to do, right? But it's healing. It helps with pain, physical pain, emotional pain, psychological pain, helps with anxiety, with fear, with shame. Compassion training has been associated with a number of, benefits. So if you want to come at it from a scientific perspective, there's a lot of research across neuroscience and psychology that backs up this ancient knowing. Basically, self-compassion greatly benefits our mental health and well-being because it actively soothes our nervous system, which calms the threat and drive systems in our bodies. The threat and drive system is basically overactive for pretty much all of us. Um, but definitely more so for those who are experiencing like direct poverty, direct, institutional and state and structural violence, right? And yeah, and it can, this threat and drive system on overdrive is also then responsible for a lot of the difficult emotions we may be struggling with and physical and health issues. Um, yeah, I guess. And so apart from all the physical, emotional, psychological health issues, it is also a form of resistance because, like I said, if everything in the dominant system is for you is to take you out of your truth, which is the truth of interbeing, then practicing compassion is an act of resistance. And it is also who we are. It's the essence of us and the universe. Um, I have a summary here of like a bunch of scientific research, in case you'd like that evidence on how compassion actually really works, right? And it has like, it alters your brain structuring. So it affects amygdala responses to emotional stimuli. Um, this research was done on healthcare workers, healthcare professionals, and it showed that uh, that it immediately had impacts on reducing stress, promoting overall being, fostering a resilience and balanced approach to both work and life. It brought about noticeable changes in key brain regions associated with emotional processing, regulation, decision making. Obviously, right? Like when you are in a state of relaxed connection and care with everything around you, the decisions that you make are happening from a place of openness and not a small self which is afraid or which is, and then those decisions will end up uh, being beneficial to you and those around you. So there's a lot of research in the last 20 years on this. And so now I want to just kind of pivot back to why do we need to practice compassion right now, which is like my big ask at this moment. I mean, I really, all of you are sharing Earth with me right now, so you're all very deeply familiar with what's going on. I don't need to underscore. But what I will say is that I used the phrase end times, but I thought maybe I need to use a phrase that is not that's indicating that yes, things are ending, but there's also beginnings happening at the same time, right? So I use the phrase great turning, which comes from the work of Joanna Macy, who's an American environmental activist and scholar of systems theory, deep ecology, and Buddhism. She spent her entire lifetime working on anti-nuclear and environmental protection on these lands and even in other places. And that culminated in her modality, which she calls work that reconnects, which is a theoretical framework for personal and social change, as well as a workshop methodology. So whether we like it or not, we're living through a time of great upheaval and change. It can be argued that, universe is one of change, but sure, things are changing all the time, but the pace of change that we're living through is exceptional right now. We are witnessing the fall of colonial capitalism and white supremacy. It is painful. And we also have to midwife and birth what follows it, right? I don't know how everyone feels about that, but I really, really want there to be a future where where we're designing ways of caring for each other based on this ethic of interbeing and compassion and not one of extraction and greed and fear that we are living through right now. Um, so the work of the Great Turning. So I mean, there's Joanna Macy has like a whole books about this, but it's so what she offers is that this is vast and complex and identifies three particular dimensions, as an encouragement for us to see in our daily lives what we can do. So first she says is holding actions in defense of life to slow the damage to earth and its beings, then transforming the foundations of our common value, like these Gaian structures, she calls them. So looking really at the structural causes and the creation of structural alternatives, right? Like how can we do that? And then shift in consciousness, perception, and values. And even if all of us in our lives can't work on those structural stuff, we can do work on ourselves here and in our communities and in our families and in our homes. Um, Here, there's a little documentary as well on this, a short one. If you want to watch it, it's beautiful. So she says that, we've actually been on this way for quite a while, is that we're beginning to wake up as from a millennia long sleep to a whole new relationship to our world, to ourselves and each other. It is exceptional, like the fact that I'm sitting here on Zoom sharing this, right? Or that I have had the kind of education that I've had where there are all these various influences. So it is an exceptional time, and you got to remember that. So now that brings us to the question of how do we do this? Again, I want to just emphasize that it's not conceptual only. It is conceptual, but it's not conceptual only because we're not just also thinking beings only. We are feeling beings, we are sensing beings. So compassion is then all-compassing like that. So we need to target all the aspects of our existence, which is body, mind, heart, relational, soul, you know. And so whatever that feels right for you, this is also something I want to emphasize, that what is compassionate for me may not be compassionate for you, right? So there's no universal here. Is the key is you need to get to know yourself, really, like sensing, feeling, meditation is one way, but really just sitting under a tree, looking at the sky, and just being like, identifying what's going on with you, like what upsets you, what makes you happy, getting curious, getting intimate with yourself. What are the sorts of things that trigger distress in you, that bring about suffering or pain or self-criticism, watching that. These can be specific situations, problems, or people, thinking about the past or the future, or experiencing certain emotions or physical sensations. So really like using, spending time with yourself, figuring that out, journaling, and then very actively, noticing that what are the signs that indicate that I'm suffering or criticizing myself, and then being more compassionate in those spots, because like I said earlier, we're neuroplastic. What we repeat, it becomes habit holistically. So just repeating the words is not going to do it, right? Like actively sensing, feeling, and then slowly your ability to tolerate discomfort in the body will expand. And that's the main work. We want to create expansion within ourselves, within our body, mind, heart, soul, so that we can then see, notice others around us, right? Increase our capacity. I know it's not a great work, but and so here are some, some ways that we can do it. The key ones for me is like really, um, it's just bringing attention, on the Buddhist part, the first step is like mindfulness, like just becoming aware of what's going on. And then from that place, being like, okay, what could be the compassionate, kind response, caring response here? And like we did in the practice, it could be with touch, it could be with words, because we're mammals, we feel warmth. The touching is very soothing for our system, for our nervous system. Breath, developing cultivating an active breath practice, which could be in any shape and form, but really getting familiar with your breath, how you breathe, right? Long exhales, which we practiced in the beginning, they signal to the nervous system that it's safe. We don't have a threat around us, right? And then really just being your own compassionate friend. How would you talk to somebody you cared about if they brought up their suffering? We tend to be much kinder to others than to ourselves. And not it's not our fault but that's just the conditioning that we are in, the world that we are in. So switching that, right? So that extension that you do for others, bringing that back to yourself, like being your own compassionate friend. And really actively, we tend to take so much that we do for granted. So really actively appreciating and listing the positive aspects of yourself and the care that you extend to yourself and to others around you, and actively also appreciating care when others extend that to us. Um, Kristen Neff is a American psychologist who has done a lot of research and has brought compassion to science in this country. And she has this encouragements of compassionate letter. So writing yourself a letter, a compassionate letter, if you're struggling with something, like what would that be? Like reaching into the part of you that has, because we all have compassion. Like I said earlier, humans have the whole range. So all of us are familiar. We do know what it is. We do have it. It's just a matter of expanding, right? We just want to focus on expanding that. So, doing things like, compassionate thinking. So watching your self-criticism, watching how you talk to yourself, having compassionate thought diaries and compassionate letters. So this active reflection, this repetition is what will, if we bring it into our daily practice intentionally, it slowly builds up. And over months and years, you will see your capacity increase. But yeah, at the core really is like really spending time with yourself, taking care of yourself and those around you. And that again, I want to emphasize that does not mean like just consuming, but really like it's about attention. It's about, just really being curious about who you are and what's going on with you. Um, I am, because like I said, we all have that. I'm just kind of curious, how do you care for yourself? What are the existing things that you do? Because I know we all do it. And if this feels okay, I would love for you to share what is soothing for you, what phrases you may already have in your practice, or like, can you repeat to yourself that show your care? We practiced earlier, so maybe some phrases came up for you if you are comfortable sharing with us. And thinking of, maybe taking a few moments right now to think of people in your life who you want to care for, and how do they care for you, and what do you appreciate about that care? So just taking a few moments to just reflect for yourself. If you have a journal, please do that. And please share in chat uh, if you feel comfortable. Oh, time in nature. Yes, absolutely. Oh my God. Because that's it. Like what time in nature is just being, out, you just that's our essence. That's the innate. I mean, for me, I really feel the innate nature of reality is a compassionate one. So yeah. 8 hours of sleep. Oh my God, I love that. Yes. Oh, dancing, movement, absolutely. Right. Our aliveness, Very good, beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. We're okay. That's so important. Oh my God, that's so important. Because everything about our nervous system and our bodies is like just like, are we okay? Are we gonna it's just kind of it's trying to keep us alive. And it's always just because it is so insane to be alive. Like literally the roof can fall right now. So I love that. Yeah. That's it's scary to be alive. So then actively telling yourself it's okay. Oh, I love that. Compassion, movement, embodiment, breath work. Yeah, love that. Oh, yeah. Oh, warmth is so good. Yeah, that mammalian impulse for warmth, the hot pad. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Slowly rock to side. That's it, really. This, and just hugging yourself like this can really, it's a very powerful, it really signals the body that everything is okay. So just holding yourself and yeah, like that. That's amazing. Just rocking. There's something about rocking that's very soothing. Thank you. These are really beautiful. Petting an animal. Oh, animals are really just the best. All beings. Taking care of a plant. I mean, I feel so much love for my plants and my trees. Smiling. Oh, yeah. Oh, smiling is so great. That's an active practice. You know, South Asian monks are always like they're just like they're so happy. Yeah, these are beautiful. Thank you. Oh, cooking. Yeah, I love these. Yeah. I have some resources also here. There's so much available on the internet or in books, research backed. All spiritual traditions, like I said, have a stream running through. So pick for yourself. Um, I know modernity has really destroyed our relationship with sacred traditions and sacredness. However, finding a large container to place your fear and your hopes and desires in can be really powerful and helpful. So I will also encourage if you lean towards anything, and I mean that can really just be even science, right? Like so whatever it is, find for yourself this container of expansion, and yeah, and do the work. There is enough out there. Um, And my last slide, why is it not? Oh, there we go. This is my last slide. This is a very beautiful being that we were fortunate to have shared Earth with at the same time. Thich Nhat Hanh is a Vietnamese monk, who was very active also during the Vietnam War, American Vietnam War, and worked with Martin Luther King. Um, he died, passed away in 2020 at the end. And if you ever have time, Google him walking the way he walks. He embodies compassion, right? So the way he walks, it's like he's floating. It's so beautiful. And so he really encouraged walking practice. And yeah, this sweet boy next to him is beloved. And so this is something that he would do. He'd just hold hands with children and walk in the front, and everybody's doing walking practice. And this is, what he says, that when you walk reverently and solidly on this earth, we send out waves of compassion and peace. It is this compassion that will heal ourselves, each other, and this beautiful green earth. So yeah, whether we breathe, we walk, we sit, in all aspects of our being and our living. Compassion is key. So thank you. I'll stop this here and we'll take questions if there are any, or concerns or whatever's coming up for you.
Thank you so much, Rahma. We got a private question. Someone asked if you'll be sharing your slides. And I also wanted to point out that this session is being recorded and also included in the Be Well website. So Erin has shared the link to that, but I wanted to just point and pause and see, would you be sharing slides or
I
resources?
can, yeah. If you send me your email, I can share the slides for sure. If so, whoever wants the slides, if you just message me your email, I'll copy it and send them to you.
Thank you for that.
Of course. Thank you for being here. And for
Do we
your
have any questions, comments, reflections? I see in the chat, someone said, thank you, so powerfully important and positive with a heart emoji. Lots of love for you in the chat, a lot of thank yous for your presence, for your gift of showing up, such important reset. And we have a wonderful grounding and powerful opportunity for folks to be together and to be mindful for themselves. Any questions? Anyone wants to unmute themselves and add to, yeah, go ahead, Gail.
Yeah, thank you so much for offering this presentation. And you mentioned in the beginning you're a PhD student. And so I guess I'm just curious about what your future endeavors are for the rest of your program, and then also post once you get that doctorate.
That's a great question. I love holding space for young people. So teaching is something that I really appreciate, and I feel so grateful that I can do that. And so I think that's what I would like to do in the future. I would continue wanting that. And now, in what capacity? I don't know what universities will look like in the next few years. I have no idea. I'm open to teaching in any shape and form, school, high school, college, university, sidewalk, like it's fine. But it would be nice to be in a university. And what I'm doing in the department with my work right now, so what I'm hoping to do is research American social justice movements and how they're centering healing work. Because I have a suspicion that healed leaders, because I mean obviously social justice work is very difficult, and you come to it because you have big stakes. And how do we measure the success of that work, right? And my suspicion is that the more sort of regulated, I really dislike that word you are, the more sort of beneficial it is. And we already see that, right? Like, I mean, it's already the case, like indigenous resistance on this land against like insane environmental damages is rooted entirely in sacredness, in a sacred approach to healing. And same with Black Lives Matter, we saw that like there were actually rest corners. And there's obviously that book like Rest is Resistance. So you see it in the work of like African American feminists and trans activists on this land. And I want to spotlight that, like those interventions that because at working as a yogi, I've seen the damages a lot of like this wellness rooted in the sort of commodity, where wellness is a commodity, you just buy it and you consume it. That does not is not helpful. It doesn't help you. You cannot heal if the planet is on fire. Like, so you alone can't just go off and be like, oh, I have autoimmune and, I can go do all these things, which is what I thought, that I can go do all these things and I will be fine. And the reality is that no, that's not going to happen. Our nervous systems are completely intertwined. What we're eating, how we're making our food, how we're growing our food. So there is no healing in isolation. Healing is in interbeing and in compassion. So I want to see how that is being operationalized in these spaces, in spaces of social justice, of organizing in the US.
We are so excited to hear what you come up with. I'm just doing a quick time check. It looks like we have time for perhaps one more question, so feel free to private chat any of us, or feel free to come off mute, raise your hand, and I'll be.
One question we got. Oh, go ahead. Did anyone? Did I
I'm
hear?
not seeing hands. Go ahead, Patricia.
One
Dr.
question I got was, what does compassion look like for you in a day as a daily practice?
Oh, I, because of the body that I am inhabiting, waking up is hard. It's not, it's really, so I really spend in the morning, like, I'll just like use my hands and coax myself, like, it's okay, we can do this. I breathe. Like, so really like the day begins with like, it's okay, we can do this, we got this, like touching my belly, being like, it's okay. And really starting from there, right? Like caring, really caring. And I need a lot of rest because just the nervous system is so wired. So I start the morning with practice, with stretching, with breathing into my body, with like creating space, a little bit of grounded meditation, sometimes Reiki, and then, eating. And when you're eating your food, like being like, looking at it and smelling it and tasting it and being like, may it be in the service of liberation of me and all beings, right? Like doing that. Like, so mindfulness, this compassion approach is rooted entirely in mindfulness, and mindfulness is being mindful of every moment, right? Like that now, okay, breathing is happening, now eating is happening, there's looking at the food and like recognizing the labor of countless beings that I do not know that has gone into this food coming into my hands. The devastation of the earth, like recognizing, making space and being like, I care. I go to the creek a lot. Oh my God, like the creek is literally a therapist. Poor creek. There's a tree here. I go for a walk and I look at the mountains. I spend time just lying down and looking at the sky, looking at clouds. That really calmed me. Yeah. Um, it's a pretty shaky nervous system that I work with, that I have had, that I know that these practices have really helped me. And obviously with people, like people around me, students, colleagues, my family, my beloved. Like this morning, I spoke to my sibling and their kids, just caring for them.
Thank you so much for your wonderful presentation, your guided meditation at the beginning, and for answering some of these questions. I know we've just got a few moments to wrap up, but I know I can speak for Dr. Gonzalez and myself, the ACE office in the College of Arts and Sciences, as well as Be Well. We are so deeply grateful for you. And in just a moment, we'd like to just kind of express that as a group. But before we do that, I just wanted to preview a couple of items for our CU community. Our October Let's See You Well event will feature two research practitioners, Dr. Matthew Rossman and Brendan Kaiser, representing integrative physiology. And they'll be looking at the health span and how to do some evidence-based practices that help to optimize vascular aging. And along with that, I just want to put in the chat that our partners here at CU Boulder and the Anschutz Medical Campus are recruiting participants for the LILAC study, which investigates how menopause affects vascular health and fat gain, all of which are factors that can increase risk of heart disease in women. And so if you are interested in looking at some of those participant criteria, you can take a look at the link that I've included here. But I look at the time and we've got about a minute left. And so I know I am very deeply grateful for both the research that you're doing and the community building that you're doing by sharing your expertise with us. And so a deep bow of gratitude from where I'm sitting, but also I know our community is really grateful too. So let's show Rama a little bit of see you love. I'm so grateful for this time together. We will be posting this session on the Let's See You Well page that's housed in Be Well. So we do have just maybe 30 seconds. Any comments coming up? But Rama, I hope you can see all the love coming your way.
Yes,
We're
thank
very
you.
grateful.
I'm super grateful. And I really just want to end with saying that, like I said, it sounds so simple, but it's not easy. I see that. And please, remember that you're not perfect, where there's no perfect thing that you have to get to or be like someone. Like we're all beautiful and unique in our individual ways and works in progress. So this is a lifelong thing. Do not be hard on yourself. That's all. Just really don't. The world is already hard enough, so don't pile that on. Yeah, and just also quickly, you don't have to immediately start practicing compassion for folks in DC. Start with people who feel safe and, you do that and slowly you can expand and they can also be there. But, it doesn't have to start with that. Okay? Just want to say that.
Wonderful. Dr. Gonzalez, any final words before we sign off?
No, just a huge thank you to all of you for showing up. Rama is going to be staying behind for 5 more minutes. If you want to ask anything private, we are going to stop the recording. So thank you all for being here today. Yeah, see, I see some of your students here as well.
Oh, I